Ready?
Eat quietly.
Okay, so I'm sure most, if not all of you, have heard somebody say to you at one time in your life that two wrongs don't make a right. Well, I say somebody who's made a statement like that has never tried a cookie brownie bar. And the reason that I say that is because cookie brownie bars are made from two different desserts combined into one, and both of those desserts are what they are today because of mistakes or wrongs that were made to the original recipe. Brownies used to be called blondies. They didn't have any chocolate in them at all. And then a chef at a hotel decided to make blondies for a big convention, and somebody in his crew put chocolate in the blondie mix, and out came brownies, and everybody loved them. And then chocolate chip cookies, they didn't used to even have chocolate chips in them. They were just the dough. And the owner of the Toll House Inn wanted to make a chocolate chip cookie dough, or not chocolate chip cookie, a chocolate dough. And so she broke apart a chocolate bar and put it into the dough, thinking it would melt to make chocolate, but instead she got chocolate chip cookies. So both of these wrongs made very good desserts, which I like and most people like today. My family really loves this dessert, and I love making it for them because we all love sweets, but we have very different tastes. So this is one dessert that we all love, so I make it quite a bit. And so today I'm going to teach you guys how to make cookie brownie bars. I'm going to show you everything you're going to need to make them as far as ingredients and your supplies. I'm going to show you how to assemble the ingredients and put it together in the pan, and then I'm going to give you some variations on the recipe. So there are many things that you need to get started, and I have it all here to show you. You can make this recipe from scratch, which I have done before, but to save time I've made the box mix version. I'm using the Ghirardelli chocolate brownies and the Betty Crocker dry chocolate chip cookie mix. And to get all the dry ingredients are already in the box, so all you're going to need is your wet ingredients, which it's going to be eggs, oil, water, and butter. You're also going to need something to grease your pan. I like to use this spray here. It's by Baker's Joy, and I like it because it has a flour in the spray, which really helps keep your dessert from sticking to your pan. I do have a magazine, a Better Homes and Gardens magazine at home. It's a cookie edition, and they give you different ways that you can grease a pan. And they say the best way to do it is with butter if you want it to taste the best, but it's not their first recommendation because butter burns very easily. So I just stick with this. Okay, you're also going to need, I have one bowl, but you'll want to have two bowls, a measuring cup, a fork or a toothpick, something to mix your doughs with, and of course your pan. And an apron is optional, but I like to use one because I tend to get messy when I bake. So now I've showed you everything that we're going to need to make the dessert, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how to put all the ingredients together and assemble it into the pan. First thing you want to do before you do that though is set your oven to 350 degrees. And I like to grease my pan first because I've forgotten to do it before, and then that's not good when try to get the dessert out later. Once you've done that, you're going to set your pan aside, and you can take your brownie. It doesn't matter which one you start with, but you can take the brownie, pour it into your bowl. And this particular recipe calls for 1/4 cup oil, 1/2 cup water, and 1 egg. And you want to mix it with brownie mix. You don't want to over mix the batter. You only want to mix it just until you don't see any more dry ingredients. And I found an interview that was done by the Bulletin. They interviewed a pastry chef by the name of Patricia Harding, and she was very adamant that when you over mix a brownie batter, the texture is terrible. So you definitely don't want to do that. So once you are finished mixing your brownie, you're going to set that aside and get your chocolate chip cookie dry ingredients, and you're going to put that into your bowl. This particular recipe calls for a stick of butter, which is 1/2 cup, and 1 egg. It's really important with the butter that it's softened and not melted. It kind of gives you instructions on the back here too, because if it's too firm, you're not going to be able to mix everything together. And if it's too soft, I have a cookbook that I refer to a lot for baking. It's called Grandma's Best Loved Recipes. And she says that when the butter is too soft, it can't cut through the molecules in your sugar, and then you don't get those air bubbles that give you the lift in your dessert. So you're going to get a flat, dense dessert, and you don't want that. So once you're done mixing all of your chocolate chip cookies, you're going to set that aside. Then you take your pan, and the first layer that I use is the brownies. You're going to transfer all your brownie batter into the pan and give it a little shake to make sure you have an even canvas for your cookies. Then you're going to take your chocolate chip cookies. I just use the same spoon that I used to mix it and plop it on the top. I have a picture here that's kind of what it looks like before you put it in the oven. And then once you get all that mixed, you're going to stick it in the oven for about 30 minutes. At about 30 minutes, you want to take it out and put your toothpick or your fork in it, and it comes out clean. You know your brownies are done. Emeril Lagasse has a cooking show, but I saw they have a YouTube channel where they do clips of his cooking shows, and in one he suggests that you take a spatula and run it around the perimeter of the pan, so that way when your brownies cool, it's going to be much easier to pull them out. Okay, so now I showed you guys the way I like to make cookie brownie bars, but there are certainly many other ways to make them, and I'm going to share with you a couple ways I've tried and things that I haven't but look good, and I found the recipes. So I really like to put powdered sugar on top of my cookie brownie bars. You want to dust it just a little bit. You don't want to cake it on, but it's really important that you make sure that they're completely cool before you put it on, because otherwise they're going to look slimy when the sugar melts. Another really good one, I don't know if it's good because I haven't tried it, but it looks delicious, is this one here. It's basically the same thing, but you also add a layer of Oreo cookies in the center. They've kind of flip-flopped the cookies on the bottom, but it doesn't really matter. People like frosting on their brownies, so you could certainly put frosting on your cookie brownies. You can do store-bought, or you can do anything you make at home. But any one of the variations of this recipe would be good with ice cream. Sometimes we take a piece of our cookie brownie bar at home and we pop it in the microwave for 10-15 seconds and then put ice cream on top, and it's really good. I'll go over what I taught you guys today. I taught you how to make cookie brownie bars. I showed you all the ingredients and supplies you're going to need to make them. I also showed you how to put your ingredients together and assemble it in the pan. And I gave you some variations on the recipe, and I hope that now that you know how to make them, that you make them at home for your family. But most of all, I hope that when you try them, you agree with me that these two wrongs ultimately come together to make a right. Thank you.
Thank you.